Across Europe, an extraordinary and relentless cold has settled, stretching from Norway's fjords to Italy's coasts. Frost etches windows, and the air bites, forcing millions to retreat indoors. This isn't a brief chill. It's a deep freeze, disrupting daily life and testing our resilience. Rivers slow, birds huddle, and people layer up, all adapting to the harsh conditions. Our modern comforts, central heating, insulated homes, are suddenly under strain. The cold is more than discomfort. It's a stress test for the infrastructure that powers our lives. Beneath the beauty of snow and stillness, a silent struggle unfolds. Every home and hospital becomes a fortress against the cold, drawing on shared, finite energy resources. The story of this winter is not just about weather, it's about energy and the delicate balance that keeps our world running. The cold exposes our dependence on systems we often take for granted. As the freeze deepens, the pressure on these systems grows. The question is, can our energy networks withstand the test? This is the challenge Europe now faces. As temperatures plunge, millions turn up thermostats, triggering a massive surge in energy demand. Gas boilers and electric heaters roar to life, straining the continent's energy grid. Both gas and electricity consumption spike, pushing infrastructure to its limits. The energy grid, usually steady, now faces a torrent of demand, like a river nearly running dry. Power companies scramble to keep up, monitoring every kilowatt and cubic meter. The pipes and wires that deliver warmth have finite capacity. This is no abstract problem, it's a real-time, high-stakes balancing act. Every home, business and hospital depends on the system holding together. The surge is relentless, and the margin for error is razor-thin. Grid operators work around the clock, knowing a single misstep could mean outages. The comfort we expect is now a daily battle. The outcome of this test is uncertain. Europe's energy system is under unprecedented strain. When demand soars and supply struggles, prices inevitably climb. Europe's energy markets are in turmoil, with fierce competition for limited gas and electricity. Households face soaring bills, sometimes double or triple what they expected. For many, warmth is no longer a given, but a costly necessity. Businesses, from bakeries to factories, are squeezed by rising energy costs, often forced to raise prices or cut back. The shock ripples through the economy, driving up the cost of living for everyone. Governments scramble to respond with subsidies and price caps, but these are only temporary fixes. The crisis exposes how deeply energy is woven into every aspect of society. Unstable prices create uncertainty and hardship. The economic impact is immediate and far-reaching. Our reliance on affordable, stable energy has never been clearer. Europe's dependence on imported natural gas is a vulnerability now laid bare. Most gas arrives via vast pipelines from a handful of supplier nations, making the continent reliant on external sources. Strategic reserves, meant to buffer against cold snaps, are being depleted at alarming rates. The prolonged freeze threatens to drain these reserves before winter's end. Geopolitical tensions add to the risk. Any disruption in supply can trigger shortages continent-wide. LNG imports delivered by ship are fiercely contested on the global market. Europe finds itself in bidding wars for cargoes, with no guarantee of timely delivery. The entire supply chain, from wellhead to power plant, is under pressure. Even with money to spend, supply is not assured. The crisis reveals the fragility of Europe's energy security. Every link in the chain is being tested. The stakes could not be higher. Europe's push for renewables, wind and solar, has transformed its energy landscape. But the deep freeze exposes a key weakness. Renewables depend on the weather. High-pressure systems bring cold, clear skies, but little wind, leaving turbines still. Snow and short days limit solar output just when demand peaks. The result? Renewables contribute little when they're needed most. This isn't a failure of green energy, but a lesson in the need for massive storage solutions. Batteries, pumped hydro, and green hydrogen must be developed alongside renewables. Only then can clean energy be reliable in all seasons. The crisis is a wake-up call. Storage and renewables must go hand in hand. The future grid must be both green and resilient. Europe's power grid is a marvel of engineering, but it's being pushed to the brink. Demand soars while renewables falter, forcing older, dirtier plants back online. The system's flexibility is gone. Every available source is needed just to keep the lights on. Equipment strains under the cold. Transformers fail, lines snap under ice. A single failure could trigger cascading blackouts. Operators may resort to rolling outages to prevent total collapse. The fragility of the grid is suddenly starkly visible. The hum of electricity is now the sound of a system under siege. Behind the technical crisis lies a human one. Families face impossible choices: heat their homes or pay other bills. The elderly and vulnerable are at greatest risk, with cold homes threatening health and dignity. Fuel poverty spreads, forcing people to huddle in a single room or choose between food and warmth. Hospitals struggle with soaring energy costs and a surge in cold-related illnesses. Schools may close, not just from snow, but because they can't afford to heat classrooms. Even food supplies are threatened as greenhouses cut back on heating. The crisis ripples through every part of society. It's not just about discomfort, it's about survival and stability. The energy crisis exposes how deeply our well-being depends on reliable power. The effects will linger long after the cold has passed. This is the true cost of energy insecurity. Europe's crisis is not isolated. It sends shockwaves through the global energy market. As Europe pays top dollar for LNG, prices soar worldwide, leaving poorer nations unable to compete. Power shortages and economic disruption ripple from Asia to South America. The crisis strains international relations and highlights the strategic importance of energy security. In the scramble for fuel, climate goals are set back as coal use rises. The lesson is clear. Energy transitions must be reliable, or we risk backsliding. What happens in Europe affects us all. The world is more connected and vulnerable than ever. This crisis is a wake-up call, demanding more than a quick fix. The immediate priority is to protect the vulnerable and stabilize the grid. But lasting change means investing in energy efficiency, insulating homes, reducing waste, and cutting demand. Renewables must be paired with large-scale storage and a smarter, more flexible grid. We need cross-border cooperation and a culture of conservation. Energy is precious, not infinite. We must use it wisely every day. This isn't about hardship, but about building a smarter, more resilient future. The challenge is immense, but so is the opportunity. This winter, Europe learns that resilience is the key to warmth and security.